Hello everybody and welcome to FAB Rugby. So tonight we are joined by a very special guest. We'll be doing a reveal any second now, but before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and also hit like on this video so other rugby fans can find it. Who do you think is going to be joining us tonight then? We have an England player joining us for a chat about his career and recent developments. So well, let's see if we got any guesses coming in. Drop some guesses into the chat who you think it might be. I'm just going to drop the microphone down a little bit. Hi Louis, welcome along. Hello Gregor, hello Mickey, welcome. So yeah, if you have any questions for this player, I will be able to ask them to him directly. So if you want to get your questions in once I reveal it, we've got one pretty much spot on. So I'll tell you what, let's go to it. Let me switch this camera over 1 second and I'll bring him in. Oh, there we go. So if I switch to here, it should bring our guest in. Hello, George Furbank.
Hello.
Let me just check. Can everybody hear George? Could you just speak for a second, George? Just say hello again for me.
Hello.
That's cool. How are you, George? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah, avoided the virus so far, I think. So I'm as well as I can be.
So last time we spoke was August, wasn't it? It was I think you were just about to play your first game. I think it was against Leinster in the pre-season. There's been quite a few developments in your life since then, and since we last spoke. And I watched back the interview this morning, and at the end of the interview, we talked about. I asked you a question about what do you want to do in your next 10 years, and your last thing you said was the international cap is the ultimate goal. So we sit here 7 months later, and you're now 2 times cap for England. How do you feel about that? Is that crazy to hear from people yet, or have you kind of is sunk in now?
It's been a crazy 7 months, to be honest. Obviously, speaking to you 7 months ago, I never thought I'd be a cap player yet. I guess it's still sinking in. It took a while to sink in, especially after the first cap. It sunk in more after the Six Nations kind of finished. But no, yeah, it's been a crazy 7 months, and I've loved every minute of it.
So, where are you? So, how did you find out about England? Where were you firstly, and how did you find out?
So I was actually I was out for dinner with my family.
Yep.
And then it got added to a WhatsApp group, and messages started coming in on the WhatsApp group. So I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And then it was like England Six Nations, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay."
Wow. So there was no.
I didn't really want to bring it up at the dinner table. So I kind of kept it. I managed to keep it to myself until the next day when I kind of told everyone. So it was crazy. I had calls from dingers and people like that. So also saying I can't believe what just happened. I'm in the squad.
So there was no communication at all before. That was literally the first time. There was no you might be included, or did you have a feeling? Was there or was it completely out the cold?
I mean, people talk, don't they? Journalists talk and stuff, and the lads give you a bit of stick around the club, are you looking forward to play for England? This is in the Six Nations. I was like, yeah, good work, but no actual communication apart from being added to a WhatsApp group.
So I don't know if you saw many of Eddie Jones's interview after the World Cup and stuff, and he talked about kind of how he took some time away from the game, and then he came back and he saw players like yourself and seeing how you were playing the game, and do you take a lot of confidence from that then, the fact that the coach of England is saying you're one of the people that kind of made him feel good about the game again and made him fall in love with it a little bit again after a tough World Cup final loss?
Yeah, I mean it's a nice thing to hear, but I just want to enjoy my rugby as much as I can, and I was doing that with Saints, and luckily we were going pretty well at the time as well, so that always is going to help. But yeah, it's nice he sees something in me, and hopefully I'll put in a lot more hard work and keep developing.
So let's talk through your first day in camp then. Were you nervous, or was it kind of just, was it all a bit like a new kid at school sort of thing, or how did you feel?
Yeah, I was fully crapping myself. I'd never been on a camp before, so I didn't know what to expect. And obviously those boys who just spent the whole World Cup together, most of them. So obviously really close. It was nice going in with with 5 of us lads from Saints, so that kind of really helped. Because if I found myself by myself, I'd just send a message to one of the boys. And I'd be like, "Where are you, lads?" So that was nice. But yeah, they all like really helped fitting in pretty quickly. So
That's really
that was nice.
So obviously, when people talk about playing for internationals and stuff, they talk a lot about how there's a big step up. Did you find that in training as well? Like, this was one of the questions that actually came in from Will Parsons. He asked, how hard is training at international compared to the Premiership level of training? Is there a step up?
Yeah, there is a big step up. Just intensity-wise, physicality-wise, probably as well. Those sessions get pretty full on, to be honest, and they're really tough. So the load goes up massively. So it takes a bit of time for your body to kind of get used to that. But it's so it's a step up in skill, obviously, and stuff as well. But luckily at Saints we train pretty hard, and we have some pretty tough sessions during the week as well. So that kind of got me a little bit used to what to expect from England. But yeah, it was definitely a step up.
So a couple of questions was just a bit funner questions on this one. Who is your favourite and least favourite teammate in the camp? This was from Shorty7. This was came from.
Favourite teammate. I got on, well, apart from obviously the lads at Saints, I got on pretty well with Tom Curry. Obviously, like similar kind of age, and yeah, he's good fun to be around. But it gets annoying at times. He said too much time.
So he's kind of his favourite and least favourite at the same time, then, is he?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nah, he's a really good lad. He's good one to hang around with. I don't have a least favourite. I can't answer that question.
Who has the best banter in the camp then? This is from Mickey Stranach. He says, who has the best banter?
Best banter. I find Genji hilarious, to be honest. He's just so straight faced when he says these things, and yeah, he cracks me up. And like that interview that he did as well that went viral, just kind of like probably sums him up really. Just a funny bloke.
We've got a couple of questions. It's just from Christian. He said, who's the hardest or opposite number to play against in the Premiership?
I think probably Pitt Charles Bertal. I mean, I didn't actually play Bristol this year, but he's just tearing up at the moment. I mean, he's been into every league and torn it up. So he's a world-class operator. And
another one from Mickey says, what is the best away ground to go to in the Premiership? What's your favourite one to go to?
Best away ground. In terms of like, I guess.
Just what do you enjoy? Where do you like actually really look forward to going there? Like, is there a particular ground? It doesn't necessarily need to be in the Premiership. Obviously, I'd assume like going to international stadiums that you'd kind of be like buzzing about it. But is there other grounds in the Premiership where you think, it's always a good atmosphere down here. It's always a good game.
I quite like Gloucester. I think the atmosphere there is always class.
Yeah.
They got reasonably nice change rooms, which is
makes all the difference.
Away change rooms makes a big change. And yeah, they're a good thing to play against as well. Like it's always a good match when we play them.
So then, moving on to your actual England debut now. How do you look back on it now, like reflecting on it and stuff? Because I can imagine. Well, how did you feel with the experience first of all, and then how do you look back on it now? Because was it quite daunting at first, or how, did you feel with it all?
Yeah, it was. It kind of. I guess it probably like the whole occasion probably maybe took over me a little bit. Like a few days leading up to it, his phone's just going crazy. So you're trying to reply to all these messages, and that's distracting you. You got so many distractions and I've never experienced that before. So I didn't particularly know how to deal with it. So that was just that was kind of a massive learning curve for me. But no, like reflecting back on it, like it was just amazing. Like running out at Stade de France in front of 8,000 people was pretty crazy. It was so loud.
Yeah.
Singing the national anthem as well was pretty special. Something I never thought I'd get to do. So it was cool. So
I'm going to ask you this one: was there ever a point during the game where you thought, "Oh my God, I'm actually playing for England here"? Like, was there ever a point where did it suddenly just you had a just 5-second downtime and thought, "Oh my God, this is actually happening," or was it just kind of always in the zone?
I mean, it's hard to kind of have that moment on your debut. Like you feel like you're just not like fully focused and doing your best to stay involved with the game. So I probably didn't have that till kind of after the game.
Yeah. What was the feeling afterwards like in the change rooms? Obviously, it was a loss, so it must have been quite mixed emotions for you, like because it was a loss, but at the same time, making your debut is such a big thing. Like, how did you feel afterwards?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, ultimately, the first emotion was kind of disappointment because we knew we didn't perform to our best, and they were quite good, but we gave them a few soft tries, and I probably didn't have the game I wanted to kind of have on my debut. So I was disappointed with that, but like looking back on it, it was just an unbelievable experience. Like to get capped for your country was something I've always dreamed about. So to do that was special, and I've learned a lot from it, and hopefully can take that forward.
So this came in quite a lot actually. Questions I put up earlier this one's from Fab Christian, said, what's Eddie Jones like as a coach compared to how he comes across with the media? And it's the same here in the chat. Jared asked, what is Eddie Jones actually really like? So what is he actually? Because obviously we see him in the media side of things, and he's playfully. He knows what he's doing. He's in control of what he's saying. He knows exactly what the press are going to bite on. But how does he actually act with you? Because he was very supportive of you after the first game, particularly. I think one of the quotes says about, we're not just going to send George back to be work in the shoe factories of Northampton, sort of thing. We're not like thinking along those. So yeah, how's he been with you?
Yeah, he's been really, like you said. I think he comes across as he is, to be honest. He's been very supportive to me. He's helped me out. He says to me, like, just have a clear mind. You play best when you have a clear mind. So that's something I've been focusing on. And he'll come and give you pointers here and there. And then he likes to have fun as well. He likes to wind people up and have fun stuff. Have fun and stuff as well. So no, he's a good guy.
So what's been the biggest change for you personally, do you think, since you played an international? Have you is there anything that you've done, or you've been like, oh my God, I'm doing this? Or is there anyone you've met, or has there anything been a dramatic change in yourself?
Not really, no. Like, obviously in camp, met Rory Burns, and I'm quite a big cricket fan.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then actually Boris Johnson came into the change rooms after the game. So shook his hand and said hello, and that was all quite surreal and weird. But apart from that, like afterwards, nothing's really been able to happen to me. Like, I had one day back at the club, and then I went away for a few days, came back, had one day at the club, and then this happened. So
yes.
I'm in quarantine.
What I was going to ask you. So going on we'll move on to the quarantine section now. So it must be quite strange to not kind of be having that contact, not having that relationship where I suppose if you're back with the lads now, it's not so bad. You're living with Dave Ribbons and Mitch. So it's kind of, you're still got that kind of, you can have a bit of banter and stuff, but how are you what are you doing to kind of counteract the fact you're not going to be doing like physical sessions as such, and so much gym work and everything else that comes along with being a pro player?
I mean, we've managed the club have been pretty good, and they've kind of emptied their gym for the lads. So we've managed to get a bit of equipment just in Dave's garage, so we can kind of carry on with that, go on a few runs and things like that. There's plenty of garden cricket. Keeps us active. Perfect weather for it as well. I
was going to say, if you have you watched got round to the test yet on Amazon? Have you watched that yet?
I finished it in 2 days.
Yeah, I watched it. I've been watching it recently. I thought I better say to you if you haven't. I assume you would.
I loved it. Yeah,
it's absolute class. I'd love to see that in rugby. It'd be really nice to see that. I know we've seen it a bit with the England camp, but I'd like to see it maybe within the Premiership. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
So this was. Oh.
Really good.
So this one's a bit.
Dave. This is not me, though.
That's not your ringtone, is it? Like you've not got that as your ringtone now.
Really good chat.
So this one's a bit more like with everything going on. Has it kind of dawned on you that you might not be playing again with certain players if the season is ended? Let's say it is hypothetically, or we don't know what the situation with contracts and all that kind of stuff. Like it might be the last time you played with the likes of Cobus and players like that. Is that kind of dawned on the lads yet, or is it still just kind of worrying about everything that's going on?
Yeah, I think it's more the focus is more on kind of just hoping that the season will get completed, whether it be behind closed doors or not. So that probably hasn't sunk in yet. Like all of us are working to stay reasonably fit, hoping that the season's going to carry on. So until an announcement comes out, then that probably won't sink in. But yeah, it'd be really disappointing if that is the case.
Right, if you've got any questions in the chat, we'll get some questions in from you guys before we finish off. I've just got a couple more from me, so if you've got any questions coming in. Christian says, what are you doing? Are you doing anything mental health-wise with everything we've been in kind of, in quarantine? Are you doing anything to combat that?
I'm okay at the moment. Like, that's one of the reasons I moved in with Dave and Mitch, to be honest, because I didn't want to be by myself for 3 weeks. So company normally sorts me out. I've started, since I've been on camp, I started doing a few breathing things, like the Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
Just to like relax, clear your mind and things like that. So, I mean, that kind of helps me. So yeah, if it helps other people, then brilliant.
Jared asks, you say you're a cricket fan. Which cricket player would make a great rugby player?
Oh, well, AB de Villiers. I mean, he's good at everything, isn't he? He can literally do anything. And I've heard he actually was a really good rugby player as well. So he would be, he'd be class, I think.
What is your opinion on the Scottish team? Teletuber says.
What's my opinion on the Scottish team?
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to ask. Any particular opinions? Don't have to ask.
No, I mean they're a good side. They're a flary side. They're an enjoyable side to watch. It was kind of actually getting off the bus at Northfield was a pretty crazy feeling. Like I'd never experienced anything like that before. Like it was hostile, but like I kind of liked it. Like it was kind of just gave you that buzz, and you're like, wow, okay, here we go.
You don't get weather like that in Northampton, do you? Like either that was
nah.
that was something else.
That was proper Scottish weather. That was.
It looked horrendous just watching it on TV, but I can only imagine how cold it must have and wet it must have been. It must have took days to thaw out after that one. So this one is just a couple from me, and then we'll finish it up. So there's a lot of the England team and a lot of the players are doing they're shaving off their hair for obviously they're in isolation. They're also, you can shave it off for charity. Is this something that you're going to be thinking about doing, or are you going to grow it out so it's really long like Mally used to have? What are you thinking with your hairstyle? Because we can't get to barbers.
I'd definitely be swaying on the growing side rather than shaving. I think my missus would break up with me if I shave. But no, I don't think I'm going to be shaving it. It looks like I'll be growing it because we're not going to be able to go to a barber anytime soon.
We're going to look very interested, aren't we, as we all leave?
There's going to be some horrible lids walking around. Yeah.
Are you planning on learning any new skills with your time off?
Any new skills? Probably not new skills. Just maybe some more trick shots. I don't know.
Is that because let me just show this if you haven't seen this already. This is George doing his trick shot. Hold on, wait. So he's bouncing it across. Hold on. Put that there. How long did that take you, George?
About 20 minutes.
So we could see some you're gonna size it up a little bit, are we? We're gonna see some extreme kind of like the old advert ones where it goes for miles round and round and round. Is that what we're going to see?
We'll see what equipment we've got in the house that we can do.
just be raiding the gym at the Saints for more and more equipment.
Yeah.
Just say we need it for training, but realistically. Okay, is there anything else in the chat? Just one more from Gregor says, who was your inspiration when you were growing up?
Well, like out of rugby wise, probably my dad. I kind of grew up watching him play rugby the whole time, just down at Untitled Rugby Club. So I've been down at a rugby club since I can remember, really. And then he got me into rugby. So he was kind of my inspiration growing up. Player wise, probably just like it's probably most people, Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. The World Cup rugby was kind of my first proper memory of rugby on telly and like actually properly fall in love with the game. So yeah, he's probably my inspiration.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, George. Hope it all goes well, and hope the boys don't wind you up too much in the house over the next couple of weeks. And we'll speak to you soon. So take care, George. I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Greg.
Bye.